Well, hello and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson. I'm here with AJ Royce.
Hello.
And today's date is January the 10th, 2023. So this is our first episode this year, and we welcome you all. Also, this is our fourth season.
Yeah.
Starting now, fourth season of doing these podcasts. And our episode is number 25. So here we are, again, January the 10th, 2023. And I think a lot is going to happen this year. And so I think those of you listening may feel the exact same way, and a lot more to be revealed. We talked about that in past episodes, and this is continuing. And sometimes I, listen to something and I'll say what? So anyway, I think a lot more is going to come out, and of course we have some more to share from some of the channeled messages or in tuning in within ourselves that we're going to share with you tonight. But before we get into that, I wanted to mention that this past weekend was a full moon, and I don't know about where you all live, but it was absolutely beautiful on the horizon here. It was like orange, or kind of a yellow orange. It was just gorgeous. With that said, I noticed within me that my body has felt like it's been buzzing, the whole body. It's just a very light buzz. But when I just lay there and just feel it, I would notice it. And and I think it started last Wednesday where I was with a group and I was feeling a different energy. So put it that way. It was comfortable. And then I think Royce tuned in because we were talking about it earlier today. And he said some things are...
Well, the way it came across to me was that something, whatever that something is, that is not necessarily for the betterment of our bodies, was either turned down or turned off. And so the effect was being felt, and it was an elated kind of feeling.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good feeling. Now, some people have been going through some stomach issues. I've been hearing that. Now, is that the flu, that's so-called stomach intestinal flu going around? Or is it a purging of sorts just from the changes that are going on? And maybe that's a way for us, that is a way for us to purge too. Yeah. So if you are going through that, just let it play itself out, and you should be over it in a matter of a couple, 2 to 3 days from what I'm hearing. Of course, it depends upon the individual, but if you're feeling a little bit different, I guess a way to say it, or buzzing as I was feeling, but it was just a very slight buzz. It was really pretty nice. So anyway, we all feel things a little bit differently, but things are happening. The Earth obviously is changing and raising its frequencies as some of these things we don't want here on this Earth are being expelled. Good way to say it, I guess.
Yes, being expelled or blown out into front view.
Yeah,
so they can be identified to be gotten rid of.
There you go. So it definitely is happening. So, world governments, the revolutions are everywhere.
Yeah.
They're all around the world. And people, again, are saying, we're not going to do this anymore. And we're not taking this. We don't believe you. That's the other thing. I don't know what to believe. I hear often.
Yeah.
It's like, but remember to use your own gut feel on if there's a question.
Yeah, if something looks ugly, it feels ugly, smells ugly, and tastes ugly, it's probably ugly and you don't want it.
I don't know about tasting on that one. All right. we're going to go into some information that we tuned into today. So I'm going to start off like I normally do, and then I'm going to have Royce give her information to you, and a little bit of more information that happened a while back, which I thought was really good. So we're going to start in. Are you ready? All right. All right. Earlier today, or actually a couple hours ago, I heard the words alternate time sequencing. So, alternate time sequencing. So I said, explain. Okay, here's what was given. Various time sequencing are playing themselves out. There are and has been time intermingling. What appears as sequential or linear is not necessarily what is happening. Yes, the old world is playing itself out. The shackling and controls are being forced to let go. A new structure is coming into play. Foregone eras will not return. I said it, okay, and I just said that a new structure is coming into play, and I thought, the new structure? That's my question. What does that mean? And here's the answer I received. Yes, one of equality of all beings. Dear human, what is it you want to produce while in your physicality? I thought that was an interesting word. What do you want to produce? I'm like, because we've been told just be.
Or create.
Create, yeah. So this is what do you want to produce? I thought, They said the complexity of your beingness will bring forth new truth. Interesting. New ways of being and of doing. Enjoy the fruits of your endeavors, then move on. To become complacent is to be stagnant. It is, we're trying to read my word, we're writing, it is a force within all of creation. So to become complacent is to be stagnant, it is a force within all of creation. And so that feeling of wanting to move on and not staying in the same place, that sort of thing. Then I thought this was fun. They said, it's playtime. They said, to play is to progress. It is love in action. So there you go. Playtime, because things are coming out that are going to be hard on everybody. But come on. It's like, okay, this is going on. Use the love that is within you. Be it. And then as you are it, you are actually sending it out also because it's emanating from you. And play. And when you're playing, you forget about all that stuff. Now, whatever play is to you.
Yeah.
And that's going to be different for everybody because we all have our different wants in our lives. So anyway, it's like, are we complacent and we don't want to move? However, with the changes that are happening, there's, I'm saying being forced to, but it's like, to be complacent, you just kind of dwindle. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. But it's not, creation's moving differently than that.
Yeah, well, they say that growth is the only sign of life. And, that kind of fits with what you're saying there. And that's a fairly religious point of view, so it's like everywhere you look, we have the same story being told. If you don't get with the program, if you don't keep striving to be more or to allow that force, that progressive force within you to move forward, then, it's no good. Stagnant.
Mm-hmm. So it's a really interesting way to look at life. And I heard somebody else say this, but they said basically look for opportunities in change because change is happening. And so that brings in all kinds of new opportunities. And to me, that's really exciting because you're talking about new inventions, really new ways of living that I think are going to be phenomenal. I mean, we've already gone through a lot of these phenomenal changes. And look at our technology, for one. I mean, it's incredible where we were, especially 70 years ago when TV was just first introduced.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a little earlier than that, but for the masses, it really didn't come out until the 50s. And if you take a look at that, it's like, wow, huge strides in technology to assist us in our physicalities. So that's to me, it's exciting. I think, again, exciting times, and to not get caught up in all the crap that's going on. And you can find out what that is so you don't hang on to it. And I think you have more to say on that, Royce. So I'm going to let you just take off from here.
Okay, there was a story that I channeled back in the 90s that I thought fit very nicely with what you've been saying here. The story goes that long time ago, there were these angels who were good angels, very happy angels, but they wanted to just stay the way they were. They didn't want to go any further. They didn't want to be more. They didn't want to do anything else. They just were happy to be the way they were. But that goes against the law of nature, because there's that progressive force built into everything where it has to keep moving, has to become more, has to keep growing, or else something is going to give. And that's what happened with these angels. Because they would not progress, there was such a tension built up that they caused a massive explosion, an explosion of light. And the light billowed out through all of creation, and it caused a reaction, and the reaction was change in everything that it touched. Everywhere that light billowed out, it caused change. And so the moral of the story is that the angels, even though they would not keep moving, they did not want to change, they did not want to be more, they caused that force of being more, that force for change, by not moving forward. They exploded. And so their very essence created change wherever that light went. And I just thought that was a really interesting story, and they likened it to that's how we know of the beginning of the Photon Belt. It was something, maybe not angels per se, but something that was not progressing, and it went against the law of nature. And so eventually the tension built up until there was a massive explosion, which created the billowing of light, which created change.
There you are. And, we talked about the photon belt before, but basically it's a high energy field in space, if you want to call it in space. And can't see me, but I got my quotation mark, quotations up, fingers. It's where our Earth has moved into that field.
Yeah.
And so that is helping us, move with the changes.
Yes.
Or move as change, or move or change whatever word you want to use.
for that to be expressed.
Yeah, we're using the word force, but I guess it is because you're in that field and you can't help but change.
Yeah.
And it's like me buzzing, this last few days. And, did I say I wanted to buzz? No. I mean, I may have not in a conscious way, but in a subconscious way, but my body has reacted to it. And so it's like, okay, then I go with it and be one with it, or just let it seep into my body, so my physical body will change to the higher frequency.
Yeah, and that way you weren't setting up resistance to it. So that there something abrupt did not have to happen.
Yeah, good way of putting it, because I wasn't resistant to it.
Yeah.
Just let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna let you keep going.
Okay. When we went into meditation today, I channeled this little bit. Another night is drawing to a close. This is it. The moment you have awaited. The moment to put into action that which is ready to put into place. Take the helm and steer the ship into port and dock it safely on this new shore, the new earth, inhabited by new beings filled with light. And who are these new beings but the reborn inhabitants of the earth? Their garments shine like the sun, for they have shed the garments of lies and deceit, of pain and suffering of all types. The night has given way to the light, and the light is everlasting. It is enough. The course complete. The race is one, W-O-N, and the race is one, O-N-E, one people, one light, one love all-encompassing. The fatigue of battle has been replaced by joy and rejoicing. It is enough. The truth is here to stay and shall never be defiled again. It is enough.
Wow. Remember, that's why we've been using worldwide now. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
And we come to, worldwide, people are, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, and that's what people are saying, enough's enough. We're not putting up with this defilement and some of the other words that you,
the lies and
deceit
and pain and suffering,
yeah,
whether caused or, occurring naturally. It's enough.
Yeah. People don't want to be lied to anymore.
Yeah.
And you don't think you've been lied to? I think we're going to find out a lot more in the next few months.
Yeah. The lies have been going on for so long. They go deep.
They go deep.
And it's been hidden. We got used to it.
Well, yeah. In our previous podcast, what was that? Oh, under psychological controls. And you think it's the truth because it's been told over and over and over and over and over again. And so you just accept it as such. And you find out, no, you've been lied to.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, and it's hard to take that because that was your beliefs,
Yes.
And so you lived with your belief systems, and now those belief systems are being shattered.
Yeah.
And the truth of our being is absolute love. We're certainly not poor lowly humans. You can play that game.
Yeah.
It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yes, and I'll tell you something else, something I was thinking about this morning I'll get into in just a second, but what we expose ourselves to. Watching TV, I have seen this past week on certain channels, the advertisements for these so-called entertaining movies that they're coming out with, pure filth, garbage. And people's children are seeing these things because it's not on, late night. It's all through the day, just pure garbage. And so I was thinking about these sort of things this morning, and it's very important to expose yourself only to that which you desire to absorb. Teach your children this, for only when we pave the way with the good, the right, and the just will our society become good, right, and just. So you might want to think about turning off the TV or blocking some of the channels, being very careful about what you expose yourself to, because it seeps in, and before you know it, you're repeating some of the garbage that you're seeing. It just seeps in. So I really think that, if we thought about that truly and were honest with ourselves, that we would not be exposing ourselves to that anymore. Enough's enough.
Enough's enough. I was just thinking, probably things that I said in the past, especially as a younger person, and that is like, well, everybody else is doing it, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. And now I'm thinking, wow, who is everybody else? But people, like what you got earlier is, enough's enough, and people are saying no, and some of the younger people are realizing this, even though they may be fed this through the schools or social media, whatever, and TV, as you mentioned, all of that put together. And they just think it's normal, it's natural, or it's they challenge themselves to be different. Yeah. Of course, this whole sexual transgender thing, I can understand that for some people, but it looks like it's being an experiment for a lot of people. And it's like, okay, I want to try this out. And then some of them will do things that they regret later. Yeah. And so that's just one example. I'm not saying that's with anybody, because I know transgender people, and they're wonderful people. And if they felt, whatever way it is their life, then I understand that. But some of these young people don't know, and then it becomes okay. And then, but it can harm some people. And so it's like, and I call them boundaries, but I'm not taking away anybody's free will to do. But when you start normalizing things that may be abhorrent, and then it's like, no.
Yeah, well, when you think about the human brain doesn't finish developing until, if I'm not mistaken, the early 20s.
Really?
And so when you think about it that way, it's like, how can you make decisions based on what is really your own feelings or what you feel is right for you until you know yourself? Mm-hmm. You can't know yourself until your brain is finished developing. So you might want to investigate that to see what year it is that the human brain matures at. So then it might help you to make some balanced decisions.
It depends upon you, depends upon your children, or those of you that have children, especially that are younger. On another side of that is a lot of these kids are quite awake when they come in. Yeah. And so they understand it from the get-go. And so they knew what they're getting into before they incarnated. And you think that you just come here and everything's new. No, a lot of memories come with you. And so that's also happening as talking about time emerging in other timelines, merging into your own and this time, and how that's affecting us. And I don't care how old you are, but that's going on too. So all these things all at once. Talking about an explosion, that's almost like an explosion within us. Yeah. We were those angels that are exploding. Mm-hmm. Another way of looking at that. It's just a lot to take in, but it's really looking at life in a much deeper way. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but I don't know how to expound on that.
Okay. We are here together, and I'm looking at her like, okay, help me out here. But it's that looking deep within, and it's there. You have to just allow that to come forth. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. And that's to respect other people too. Respect yourself, number one. Mm-hmm. And we can't say enough about that, because do anything. Respect yourself, love yourself, look in the mirror, love it all, and you're going to see a much faster changing world, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. So, all right. Any other things that you want to discuss?
Well, I had something I wanted to mention.
Okay.
During the last podcast, I guess a lot of you could tell that I was a little bit under the weather. And I appreciate all of your kind thoughts, your prayers, and your well wishes toward me. I really do appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad to have her, healthy again, and because I know she was going through a lot, and she's trying to get out those words and trying to cough right through it. So it's like, just take a break and.
Coughing.
I know. Yeah, I think just the thought of it made me cough. But anyway, we are going through these things, and there's a reason for it, mm-hmm. Whatever that may be. And what's interesting, we can get help when we're sick too. And working with Royce when she was ill, I did see some wonderful beings. They weren't as human. How's that? Working with her, and especially in the chest and the lungs. And so it's just interesting to see that at work, because there's a lot of beings out there that know how to work with the human body, but they have to be invited in to do so. But if you do that, always ask for whatever's for your highest good, only in the name of love, before you let anybody in your space. Yeah. And just make sure, and that you're comfortable with it. If you're not, then don't do it.
Yeah, if it doesn't feel right, we've got that inner sense. With me, I get grabbed right in the gut. It just, something's not right here, and that's my cue, is to say no.
Yeah. So, but it's always these beings are here to help, and I tell you what, we've got a lot of assistance around this earth.
Yeah, we do.
And but again, they have to be asked. This is our free will earth. So, and as humans, last time or time before, we talked about royalty, and we are, royalty, and our DNA is quite magnificent, and I think we're finding out more about that now. So to realize it all. Well, thank you all for listening tonight. Our next episode is January the 24th. And so if you want to listen live on our YouTube channel page, there is a phone number that you can call, which actually is, okay, this is through free conference call, but its number is 267-807-9601. Access code is 793-152-247. And then you hit the pound key, and then you'll be can listen live, or if you have any questions or comments, we welcome those.
Yes.
All right. And if you want to contact either Royce or myself, the number is 864-999-3008, and just leave your name and number, and we'll get back to you, and whoever you want to talk to, of course. And any comments can be put right on our YouTube channel page, and we welcome those too. So, we're curious to what you're all experiencing and how you're feeling and what you're realizing and all these wonderful things that are going on. And I can say it was wonderful because being before we started today, I just said, it's a crazy world. So it is a crazy world, yet we're here and we incarnated for a reason for the changes that are going on. And so remember that, and to be proud of ourselves that we have jumped in here, and we are the very courageous ones to do so.
Yes.
All right.
And I, for one, am very grateful to be here with all of you. We're here together doing a great work for the planet Earth, her inhabitants, and for our celestial neighbors as well. So hang in there. Keep a stiff upper lip, as they say. Keep on growing. Keep on trying to be more. Keep your vibration up. Even when you don't feel good, which is sometimes kind of hard to do, as I recently found out, but try it anyway. And I want to tell you that I love you very much, and I thank you all for staying.
All right. Well, thank you, and Happy New Year to you all, by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year.
And interesting times, but I think we're, from what we received today, I think we've received wonderful messages. So, a lot to look forward to, but also what's happening now within us is quite phenomenal. When you really look at it, it's absolutely amazing. Crazy? Yeah. But it's absolutely amazing. All right. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and we thank you again. I love you all. Blessings to all, too. All right. Good night.
Good night.